Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to the orientation session for Microsoft .NET training. I'm very glad to introduce you to Santosh, who's going to be taking these courses going forward on behalf of ITeLearn. In fact, Santosh and we have started interacting about a month back, and since then we've realized that it's going to be a great asset for our overall offering of training programs by having Santosh as part of what we do. So, having said that, Santosh has been in the industry for almost a decade and a half. He's been started his career more as a developer. He's worked in multiple roles across SDLC process, primarily on Microsoft .NET areas. And off late, he's been doing as an independent consultant a lot of corporate trainings. So he's been going to various organizations across India, multinational companies, Indian-based larger IT organizations, and so on. And he has been doing a lot of hand holding of the students. He's been closely advising them on how to master .NET training while imparting the overall training to these students. So, with that, having said that, I will let Santosh take stage. I will let him guide through the remaining part of the presentation, and I want him to give any few words that I've missed out and continue from there. And as you feel right, team, I will request you all to start putting your questions in the questions and answers, and we will come to it as we go along. Santosh, thank you so much. On to you, please.
Thanks a lot, Karthik. Hi, guys. My name is Santosh Kumar, and basically, by qualification, I've done my master's in computer science. And currently, I'm working as an independent consultant, and I'm conducting training programs for big companies. And my main skill set is into Microsoft .NET technology primarily. Now, we are when you look into the technologies, all right. Now, every now and then, you keep getting so many requirements. You see so many, technologies in place. All right. You have .NET, you have Java, you have Oracle, you have SAP. All right. So there are so many technologies. There are so many, platforms that are available. Okay. Now, we have to understand where does the .NET technology fall into, what exactly is .NET technology at the first place, how is it going to benefit me. So today I'm going to talk about the basic concepts, like what exactly is .NET, what are the prerequisites to learn .NET, who all are using the .NET technology, and what is the prospect of learning .NET. So I'm talking about purely in terms of the, from the industry point of view. I'm not talking about from the theoretical point of view. Now, when you talk about .NET as a technology or .NET, thing, okay, what is happening over here is that we have various technologies. Every technology has got its own, you know, advantages. Every technology has got its own areas of improvement. When you look into the .NET in particular, Microsoft has added a lot of things within .NET. For example, Microsoft is, to start with, Microsoft is considering multiple programmers. Okay, they're who are from different backgrounds and different segments. They know different languages and so on and so forth. So just imagine that, if there is an organization which is planning to create an application, and basically they want to, bring in different people with different skill sets. Now, one major challenge which every organization finds is that every programmer is an expert in his own language. So you can find people who are very good with Java, who are very good with, say, C++, who are very good with PHP, and so on and so forth. So how do we bring them together? How do we pool them together, because these are the guys who may have the domain expertise as well. And what is important for any application is not the language experts, but the domain experts. So Microsoft intends to bring in such people together, okay, on one common platform and allow them to, work with it. So one of the best benefit that you can see with .NET technology is that it is offering cross-language support. That is, you write a particular piece of code in, say, Visual C++, and your co-programmer is writing it in Visual Basic. Now, these two codes can interact with each other. These can talk to each other very comfortably. Okay, there won't be any problem. This entire thing has been developed over a period of time. It's not, it didn't get developed in a fortnight. So earlier, when we used to work with Visual Basic language, we had certain areas of difficulties when we are playing around with the code written by some other a code written in some other language. So now the Microsoft is intending to address that issue, and it has successfully, implemented that. That is number one. Okay. Number two is that when you talk about .NET, basically you are trying to develop applications for various that would be working with on different targets. So either it could be a normal computer, or it could be a laptop, or it could be a mobile application, or it could be a website, right? It could be any particular thing. So .NET is one technology wherein you don't have to jump from environment to environment and to write a particular code. Now, over the period of time, .NET has improved a lot, right? I mean, earlier we had certain restrictions with the programming languages, and now we have so many programming languages within the .NET technology which it supports, that you have a lot of options. In addition to it, some of you may also feel that I'm not very good with the programming concepts. I'm not very good with writing the if conditions, or the for loops, or the while loops, or the do while loops, or whatever it may be, right? How can I learn some language which involves a lot of if conditions and things like that? Now imagine if I tell you that with the current standards of the .NET coming into the picture. For example, we have a concept, we have a framework called WPF, which is a part of .NET framework. And in WPF, you can either write a code in C# language if you are very comfortable with it, or otherwise we have a separate language called XAML. Just a moment, guys. Sorry about it. So you have a lot of so in XAML you don't have to worry about how to write an if condition, or a for loop, or a do while loop. No, it's pure XAML or HTML code kind of a stuff, and that will take care of the entire job. Plus you have other technologies like Silverlight, wherein you can develop a complete website which has got the ability to display the videos, the audios, and all those things can be put around, and you can play around with it. Now this .NET technology training that we are offering as a from ITeLearn, this is basically for to help you understand the basic concepts. So there are certain prerequisites that we have set, although it's not I won't say that they are completely mandatory, but if you have those ideas, it becomes easier for you to pick it up. For example, a very simple layman example I would like to quote over here. When I would like to quote an incident from my real life. I used to ride a bicycle, okay, in my teens. Well, everybody would have done that. Now I asked my dad one day, Dad, how can I learn riding a bike? So my dad said, listen, if you know how to ride a bicycle, uh, consider that you know how to ride a bike. So it's kind of a related thing. Okay. So similarly, so bike, and what I'm trying to convey is bike and the cycle, they're modes of transportation. All right. And to learn one particular thing, you should, if you have a little bit of understanding about the previous one, it makes the thing easier for you. So similarly, when it comes to .NET, please take a look at it. um, the basic thing that I generally ask is that if people know C and C++ language, okay, because these are the basic language which are kind of fundamental, found these act like foundation to learn any particular language, so that you can base everything on that. Okay. So if you have a little bit of idea about C and C++ with the SQL server and an HTML language, then it becomes easier to learn or pick up the .NET technology, very comfortable. All right. Now, who is using .NET? .NET technology is being used in almost like many industries. Okay. If you talk about the US based industries, healthcare is using it extensively, hospital and travel, banking sectors, insurance, logistics. These are some of the ideal, areas wherein the .NET technology is working. Uh, you know, we are developing applications using .NET technology a lot. Okay, so these are all certain areas wherein it basically we are using it completely. Most of the companies like Accenture or Verizon or Deloitte, they are using uh, .NET technology to develop solutions for their business problems. I've been a part of both Dell and Deloitte. These are basically US based companies, and I have trained candidates over there wherein they're working on some really cool stuffs over there. They're developing applications for both for internal as well as for external. So they're developing everything using the .NET technology. All right. Now, one very important point comes over here, that what is the prospect of learning .NET technology? See, today, whatever you are learning, whatever you wish to understand and things like that, it should have some logical conclusion. So something like, I learned XYZ technology, what are my business prospects? So you have to think from those angles. So I've just pulled up a small piece of information for you guys to help you understand as to what is the benefit. So take a look at this very angle. I'm just considering you to be a graduate with a 4-year degree college, okay, in hand, and you have .NET, technology. Suppose you have learned .NET technology, you can expect a average base salary of $91,646 per annum. So this is basically, for the graduates. If you are postgraduate, then the bar is raised, and you can earn better. So, but ultimately, if you know .NET and you have the required basic qualification, then these are the average base salary that you can expect from any employer. Any questions, guys?
So Santosh, there are a couple of questions in the Q&A section. Do you get to see that?
No, I don't see that.
Okay. Also, let me try and
Can
make you the organizer. That
uh,
way you should be able to see it. Also, there is, I think, one of the participant who's raising the hand. Team, just because of the fact that there are dozens of participants attending this session, we have muted everyone. So we have disabled the option to ask questions by interacting. What I will do is,
Right.
towards the end of the session, I will definitely
Ah,
open up for you to be able to start talking. For now, if there are
okay.
questions, kindly go forward and put them as part of the chat system that you've provided with in the Q&A section, and we'll take it forward.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Okay. Okay.
So that's for all the candidates. Now, at this point, Santosh, are you able to see the questions?
Yeah, I'm able to see questions.
Okay, very good. So the couple of questions on advantages and so on, we can come to it towards the
Yeah.
end. So we can continue and then we'll come back to it.
All right. All right. Okay. Right. So now within the technologies, okay, you have .NET framework, you have ASP.NET, which is a part of the .NET framework. Then you have HTML, JavaScript, you have Windows 8. All these technologies are there. Now we are trying to understand, what is the job security when you learn a particular technology, and how far can I go? So the survey says that it has found that 82% of the people who responded, okay, they said that probably if you know .NET framework or Visual Studio in particular, you have a greater chance of retaining your job. Okay, so job is pretty much secured, although these are all survey, okay, and which has been conducted in the past. Okay, and so this is the general opinion that if you have a knowledge on Visual Studio and .NET framework, you have a greater chance of retaining the job, or you can even basically shift over to the companies. You have a better chance of playing around with it. Similarly, if you talk about salary by Microsoft Technologies, you would realize that these days, everybody is looking for ASP.NET and MVC and WCF. So currently, the ASP.NET, ASP.NET with the .NET framework is taking the lead. So if you have a considerable amount of knowledge on these two aspects, .NET framework, ASP.NET, ASP.NET with MVC and WCF, then it's like icing on the cake. All right. So you get to you get a better way of playing around with. You get a better opportunity. You have more scope. You can apply anywhere wherever you want. Similarly, this is the salary percentage by by role in your organization. So if you're working for the corporate, which forms around 43 odd percent, okay, you can expect a average base salary of around $93,422. Even for the self-employed, you have a good chance, okay, wherein you can earn a good amount of revenue. If you're working for some companies as a consultation or a solution provider, you have a 17.5%. If you're working for government organizations, then you have a 17.9. So these are certain facts and figures which is based on the different companies, basically. Okay, and here when I talk about the ITIS, I'm primarily talking about companies like Dell, Deloitte, and all those of those lines. Okay, so this is the overall picture of the .NET technology. Now we are talking about the basic course on .NET technology, which would take at least 30, which would take at least 40 to 45 hours for you to learn and pick up and start working on it. So consider this fact that it would take around 40 to 45 hours for the basic courses. Karthik, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, Karthik, we can start with the questions part.
Okay, so team, it's on to you. Are we done with almost all the slides? Was there any slide on the overall course content or something that we wanted to share?
Uh, Hold on. I do have just a second. Just a second.
All right. So, team, in the meanwhile, do us a favor, start putting your questions in the question and answer section, and we will start taking one after the other. All right. So, and what you can do, Santosh, is you are in a position to see those questions at your end. You can start seeing and briefly start answering the questions as they come across, please.
Yeah, sure. All right. So this is that we have come up with. Now, this is purely based upon the the current requirement in the market. In terms of the the people who are getting trained. Okay. So based on that, this is the basic thing that we have come up with. So we're talking about ADO.NET, the ASP.NET completely. This is the entire entire concept that you will be learning in the .NET framework. Yeah, Karthik. I've just shown the course content. We can start with the questions.
Go ahead, please. Santosh, on to you. There are questions listed in the
Yeah.
Q&A section. You can start looking at it and go for it, please.
Okay. To start with, in this .NET training, you will be learning the entire concepts using C#.NET language. Okay. But as a part, like as I said earlier, that .NET technology supports multiple programming languages. So you will also be learning how a C# code can be used in VB.NET. So this also you'll be learning it as well. Okay. All right. At the moment, we have not decided on the project concept. There is no project. Okay, it's basically the technology inputs that you'll be getting and how to work with it.
So, what we'll do, team, as a phase two for the training, the live project will get introduced. At the moment, we want to launch with the training and then get to the project level.
And as far as the version is concerned, see, .NET framework has the following versions. It starts with 1.0, 1.1, 2.0, 3.0, 3.5, 4.0, and 4.5. So we will introduce you guys from the 2.0 onwards because that is where the practical things have started. And from 2.0 all the way till 4.0, you'll be learning the concepts related to the .NET framework. And as far as the Visual Studio is concerned, you'll be using either 2012 or 2013. Okay, and SQL Server 2012 will be used. And we are using the Express Edition, guys. Okay. All right, ASP.NET. What is the difference between ASP.NET, .NET Framework, and Visual Studio? Okay. .NET Framework is, is collection of various other frameworks. So it includes basically things like CLR. It includes things like ADO.NET, ASP.NET is a part of it. Okay, WPF, WCF, Workflow Foundation, MVC. These are all part of the .NET framework. Okay, and Visual Studio is the IDE, integrated development environment, with the help of which you develop the applications. And ASP.NET is a web-based .NET framework with the help of which you develop web-based applications. Okay, advantages of using .NET is pretty simple. See, first of all, the development time for any project is very less, so you can quickly develop the applications and get it deployed instantly. Okay, multiple support for multiple languages. And you can develop any of the following types of application. I can develop a console-based application, desktop-based application, mobile application, okay, websites, anything and everything. Okay. What is the advantage of developing application using Silverlight instead of regular Windows? All right, Silverlight and Windows Forms are two different things. Silverlight is a technology with the help of which you develop applications that are for the web-based segments. Window Forms are basically for the desktop-based applications. Now, the correct question would be, what is the advantage of developing application using WPF instead of regular Windows Forms application? Well, when you develop a WinForm application, you have to take the consideration of the target system's resolution. The resolution has to be set according to that. The controls have to be designed according to that. So in case if there is a deviation in the resolution, then your controls would take a beat. In WPF, you can develop application without even worrying how it is going to look like, because as soon as you deploy it on a target machine, based on the resolution, it will automatically accommodate the controls accordingly. So that would make the things easier for you. And you have other areas of differences as well, okay, which you'll be learning it when we start with the program. Yeah, we will be see, when we are learning this particular segment, you'll be learning three important things. You'll be learning how to persist the data in a normal file, then on a database, and then on an XML file. So you'll be learning all these things. Okay, we are not introducing the MTM and TFS integration as of now, but yes, in advanced topics we'll be touching them up. Well, SQL Server is not a part of this course, but you will at least know how to write the basic queries and the basic stored procedures. We will not be in a position to go in depth into the SQL Server. We'll only train you guys as to how to write a basic query in SQL Server and how to play around with it. Link is not added over here. Link would be a separate part. Okay. Well, once you register for this particular course, I would be the trainer who would be conducting the entire course. So it would be my ownership. I have 15 years of experience. Well, I just showed you the the prospects of working with the the .NET technology, and you can see that overall in the industry, almost like 82% of people can retain the job if you have a knowledge on .NET framework and Visual Studio. All right, comparing one technology with other technology is not appropriate because they are different technologies, and most important, they're the purpose and things like that. Everything is different. So you cannot draw a comparison between the Ruby on Rails and Java development with that of .NET framework. Sorry. Assignments would definitely be provided during the course, and so that you guys can practice it and you can come back to the trainer for any questions basically. All right, .NET 2015 has now become an open source. All right, so it is giving a close competition for the other technologies which are already open source. All right, I believe I have addressed. Okay, do we get any training material during or after the course? Yeah, you will be provided with some PowerPoint presentations, All right, I guess I have addressed almost
Santosh, if
will
we are
we
done.
learn how to connect with, just a moment, Karthik.
Yeah, I'm
Will
not
we
here.
learn how to connect
Navigating
with
through the question.
VSTS and adding the project to the server? Well, not in this basic part. We have not considered that.
Can you also read the question out, because sometimes it's not easy for them to know which question you're answering to.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I have a question which says, will we learn how to connect with Visual VSTS and adding the project to the server? Well, right now we have not included that at the moment, but in the near future we'll be considering that. Okay. It says, will you cover, there is one more question, will you cover WCF, MVC, etc.? I did not find them listed in course content. All right. As I said, this is a basic training program which will make you aware of what .NET framework is all about and how to play around with the .NET framework. So therefore, we are not included these advanced concepts over here. All right, Karthik, I think I have addressed almost all the questions except for the ones wherein the timings and the the timings and the fees is being asked. So
Right.
from
And
my end,
those
I guess all of you, uh, yeah,
and those we will come back as we go
yeah, go
in
ahead, Karthik.
course execution. So, team, this was more like an
Yeah,
introduction
fair
to
enough.
Santosh and an orientation towards the course. We will come up with the detailed schedule for day one and day two, and then communicate on the next steps with more details. But once again, I thank everyone for joining. And Santosh, it's great pleasure to have you here. And thank you so much
Same
for
here.
driving through in a
Thanks.
short time all that is relevant for the participants to know. And any
Yeah,
questions that are still unanswered, please feel free to reach the team at learn@itlearn.com. And Santosh will make sure that he is able to respond back with the right feedback for it. Thank you so much, everyone. Appreciate your time. Appreciate you joining on a weekend. Take care. Have a great rest of your weekend then. Thank you, Santosh, once again.
thank you guys. Thanks a lot,
We
Karthik.
really appreciate you. We're very glad to have you part of IT Learn team. Thanks, Santosh.
Pleasure is mine. Thank you. Thanks a
And
lot.
thank you,
Bye.
team. Bye.